Hi, everybody. So excited to have you join us today. Another first time speaker on the webinar series. And I am so excited that we were able to work it out to get Dr. Cory Frogley here to talk to y'all. I had the great pleasure of meeting him last year at an FCA event. I think I met everybody in Florida, and we had just incredible conversations. And then I was working with his team, looking at some technology that he has developed, and mind blown. I'm like, oh my gosh, why is everybody not using this? And as you know, we've been on a big data kick lately, like the importance of knowing your numbers, and not just knowing your numbers, but what are those numbers that you need to know, and what are those impacts that they have on your practice success. And in that whole journey that we've been through, Dr. Cory and his team are so essential in the messaging of why this is so important. So if you don't know who he is a fellow chiropractor. He's also the co-founder of Blue IQ. He has spent many years speaking and coaching small businesses around the country. And you know how it is. Like, we want to talk to business people, because not only are you a doctor of chiropractic, changing lives with your patients, but you're also a business owner. And I think sometimes that heart and that passion that we have to help our patients gets in the way sometimes, that we just don't focus on the business aspect. But if you're not being a business person, then it's going to get in the way of your ability to help those patients. And that is why we have these amazing speakers who are here with us today, like Dr. Cory, who are going to drop some knowledge on you and shed some light on how to be the best business owner, so you can be the most amazing practitioner for your patients. So Dr. Cory, thank you for being here today.
It is my pleasure, Christy. So good to be with you and your tribe. And really excited to share this information with you guys, because it's a game changer. I'm going to give you everything. Like, I'm not holding back today. You guys are getting my best secrets today.
Which is what I love about Dr. Cory, because bless him, it is like releasing the fire hydrant. He has got so much amazing information. I don't know how we're going to be able to cram it all into this webinar. And if we can't, that's okay. We'll just bring it back.
I appreciate that. No, I've got some great information for you today that you guys can put into action immediately. So, Christy, is it okay if I take it away and jump right in?
You go right ahead.
All right, guys. So as Christy mentioned, I'm Dr. Cory Frogley, right? And I owe my life to chiropractic. In fact, for those of you who have not heard me speak, it was my mom who was told after just 2 kids that she could not have any more children, because she was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, which the doctor actually diagnosed her wrong. She didn't have rheumatoid arthritis, but it led my parents on this journey to find chiropractic. And this is back in the late 50s, so it wasn't real well known. But they were led to a chiropractor who took x-rays, first chiropractor to take x-rays, or first doctor to take x-rays on my mom, and found out she had scoliosis. So through his care, my mom felt better and better, and was able to have baby number 3 with no complications this time, instead of almost losing her life, which she did for the first 2. And because of that, it turned my dad's path from being actually going to become a medical doctor to becoming a chiropractor. And having 10 kids, I became the 10th of those 10. And out of 7 boys, 6 of us became chiropractors. My dad became the executive vice president of David Palmer, and just a massive impact in our profession. And so growing up in that culture, growing up in with chiropractic running through my veins, literally growing up on the footsteps of Palmer College in Davenport, Iowa, man, I knew I wanted to take and build something in this profession that got us to impact more patients' lives. And what I'm going to share with you today is the 3 secrets to do that. You see, I've been building practices now for over 20 years. I've been working with everybody from startups to lots of multi-locations out there. And it's interesting looking at the data of the trend of our profession. And I want to share those things with you today. So buckle up. This is going to be fun. I've got some slides I'm going to share with you. So let me switch this over to my screen share here. Give me 2 seconds as I do that, and then we can jump right into this. So as you're seeing my screen, give me just a second to launch. I haven't used Webinar Jam a ton here, so give me 1 second. There we go. Okay, Christy, are you seeing that now?
I am.
Okay, here we go. The 3 secrets to unlocking your practice cash flow, because that's what it's all about. And I want to ask you this question, if you guys are familiar with this. Why does your practice exist? That's a question that I don't think we ask ourselves that often. And as I got into practice, this question was one that I was asked that really kind of penetrated my soul. Like, well, it's to feed my family. It's to change people's lives. It's to deliver chiropractic, right? But when we boil it down, there's really 2 reasons why your practice exists. And the very first one is to produce profits, period. It has to produce profits. And there's a big difference between building a practice that funds a lifestyle versus building a business. And I got into building the businesses of practices a long time ago because I recognized that if we were going to impact more than 15% of the population, if we were going to increase our utilization, we had to build businesses. See, businesses actually have the revenues and marketing budgets to attract their ideal new patients. And, I don't know about you, but in my early days of practice, I always felt like, man, I have to do everything. Everything kept falling back on me. And so I learned this lesson that if I was going to get my time back to focus on my superpower, which was to deliver healthcare, I had to really buy back my time through team. I had to begin adding team members. And in order to add team members, I needed revenues, guys. I needed profits. I needed to be able to make payroll and scale the practice. If a practice doesn't produce profits, at the end of the day, it dies. And I'm telling you, I have seen too many practices literally go out of business. I've seen chiropractors walk away from this profession not because they didn't know how to adjust, but because they didn't know how to generate profits. And we're healers. Like, we go to chiropractic school because we're healers, and that's amazing. But I want to help you become a healer that touches more people's lives. So the second reason why your practice exists is this: to deliver transformation. We transform patients' lives when we sell our services, when we market our services, when we deliver our services in our conversations with our patients. This is what it's all about. We're helping them transform their lives from not being able to do things to being able to do things again, from not being able to enjoy life because of pain to be able to enjoy life because they don't have pain. You see, this chiropractor who transformed my mother's life didn't just transform her life. You see, he transformed my life. He gave me opportunity to live. That's the gift that you harness, you guys. And when you understand that principle, you're not going to just sit back in your practice when it's slow and hang out on social media. You're going to build a business with team, reach, and impact. And that's why your practice exists, period. So a practice has a life cycle, and you need to understand where you're at in that life cycle. And I am so sad to say that most practices don't even fulfill the measure of their own life cycle. And so the startup phase, whether you're a new doc coming out of school ready to start up a practice, or whether you've worked for another practice for a while and you're now like set off on your own, this startup concept is kind of scary. I remember getting my first business loan and going into debt to do the build out on the building and secure the lease and buy the equipment. It's scary. And the big focus of this phase is new patients, right? You got to learn how to become a promoter. You have to be able to get your message out there. And if you do that well, you start moving into the second phase, which is what we call traction. Traction is where we actually are now delivering some services for patients. Patients are returning. We're generating some cash. But there's a roller coaster effect, meaning we might have a great month and then all of a sudden we have a bad month. And when we have a great month, and then we have a bad month. And we call that the yo-yo effect or the roller coaster effect. And it's, quite frankly, can be exhausting. Because again, you're just producing enough cash flow to support a lifestyle. And there's something pretty spectacular that transforms a practice when they start learning to make data-driven decisions. You see, your whole interaction with patients generates data. And it's housed in your patient management system, your EHR. It's housed in your website data, right? Analytics. It's housed in your QuickBooks for your financial data. There's all this amazing data out there. And if you could visually see that data and the visual engagement, you would be blown away at what you could see is happening in that experience, where your team is killing it and where they're not, and what they need to improve on. Because if you master this, guys, we call it mastering operations through data-driven decisions, you actually get into what we call scale. Scale is an incredible place to be because you're generating so much profits from your practice that you can really market, you can really build team, you can really begin to focus on your superpowers, what you're great at. For some of you, that's the patient delivery of chiropractic. For some of you, it's hiring and leading other providers to do that while you build the business. And for some of you, it's actually scaling the business of multiple locations or a multi-provider clinic. And then, of course, at some point, you guys, there's an exit. It is so sad that 90% of chiropractic practices are sold for under $50,000. That's unreal. You can't retire on $50,000. You need some cash in your pocket. You've literally spent all of these years building this brand, building this practice, and to walk away with that is not the chiropractic dream. And this life cycle, if you do it right, if you actually scale a practice, you can sell that for a lot of money. And that money is important because it's now going to help you move into your retirement, your legacy, your family, all of those cool things. So this provider life cycle, I want you to understand a couple things, that when we move through this, we actually can build a lot of value to our practice. And we call this kind of the value ladder. It's in Blue IQ, we've got not only a practices value ladder, we have employee value ladders, we have associate value ladders. But here's when somebody looks at the value of your practice. This secret of understanding the value of your practice really comes from cash flow. There's a lot of you that are kind of stuck. You're stuck on this $30,000 to $50,000 collection, monthly collection range, and you're stuck. And you're not sure how to get up into the $70,000, $80,000, $100,000, $150,000 a month collection months. But there are secrets that are in your data that if you could see them would blow your mind on where we could unlock that cash flow, little levers that we could move and tweak that would amplify that cash flow. But that's what we look at. As a business person comes in and looks at your business, they're going to determine its value on cash flow. They're also going to look at momentum. What are the growth phases that your practice has been through? Is there stability in moving growth, or are you on your third down year? Is your practice shrinking? Again, what's so amazing about Blue IQ and the technology we built is we can see that in an instant and see now, where does the team engage with your patients and the patient experience, from marketing all the way through memberships. We want to see team members that understand their engagement. They understand what their contribution to your practice is, and they master the roles and duties that they actually now take upon themselves, their stewardship of being part of your vision. And every practice has a vision that they're trying to materialize and grow towards. And when we can get the team looking at their data, making data-driven decisions, building on strategy to problem solve some of those roadblocks, that's where we start to see momentum. That's where we start to see true growth. And then, of course, we look at systems. We have to have systems in the practice, and every practice runs on at least 6 systems. We call them the basic 6. And Blue IQ breaks those systems down for you to visualize the data in each system. And then it's just you and your team mastering the roles and duties and the product of each system. And when you can think like a business operator, you can see your practice from the 30,000 foot view of how your practice is functioning. We can unlock those secrets. We can unlock those financial levers that will drive growth. And that comes to automation. So much of your team's time is spent, even if you're good at analyzing data and stats and monitoring your practice through stats, right? You're spending your team so much time gathering those reports, putting them into spreadsheets, charting them, that it's a waste of time. We live in a new age, you guys, of data automation, where Blue IQ literally pulls the data from all of those data sources and creates that automated visual experience, saving so much time that the time that your team was spent trying to gather the data, they now have that time to strategize and act on the data. And that's why our practices are growing 20 to 200%, because it's called leveraging time. And it's a beautiful thing. So that gets us into scale. And that's what the value of a practice is it's scalable. Meaning, if I took you out of your practice, would your practice even survive? Are there systems in place that would continue to automate growth, or would it literally fall apart? Are you the glue that holds it all together? They're going to look at that. That's important. And so what we do with these practices is we take these 3 secrets of a practice, understanding what it is. We understand where the profit of the practice is and how to unlock the profit of a practice and scale it. We build what's called a strategy session. And this strategy sessions allows us to look at some things. We look at the opportunity to drive or use those profits to begin unlocking opportunities for growth, and it's in your data. And one of the things that most practices don't understand is what's called building future production. If I can get my team, my front desk team member, my case manager, my marketing person, to stop looking at only yesterday, right? They've got to complete yesterday, but start looking at the future, building this future growth plan. And then we could automate those workflows. That is what brings a tremendous amount of growth into the practice. And so for some reason, my slide is frozen. Let me see what's happening here. I apologize. Let me show you this, because the opportunity here as this loads, understanding the strategy session, and I apologize, I'm not getting, oh, there it comes. It gives you opportunity to unlock cash flow in what we call a practice cash flow blueprint. A practice cash flow blueprint allows you to actually go through and see on certain KPIs, right? Key performance indicators, how your practice is performing against industry standards. We've taken all the research, we've taken all this data. We now have over 1,000 practices using Blue IQ to harness the power of their data. And we can take that and look at how you're doing on these certain key metrics. And in that, then we look at these, what we call revenue opportunities. Blue IQ automates your revenue opportunities, and that happens with patient engagements, whether that happens with potential new patient engagements, whether that happens with patients coming in at the front desk or calling in on a phone. We're constantly optimizing the patient engagement, the opportunity. And by looking at missed opportunities and different things in your practice, we can see your team's habits inside of the practice. And as we see that, we begin looking at the value of these opportunities. And it so easily allows us to start seeing what levers can we unlock, what cash flow can we unlock for you and your practice that would then stimulate growth. And it's that growth that allows you to quickly now put this plan into place to scale your practice. We call it the Practice Cashflow Blueprint. And so with all of these opportunities, this is one page of the Cashflow Blueprint. Again, you get to see your data in real time with Blue IQ. And so, again, being part of ChiroHealthUSA, we've got a special opportunity for you guys where we can actually take Blue IQ, hook it up to your patient management system. Now, we have automated connectors for ChiroTouch and Genesis, with more coming. The cool thing, though, is we actually do have a manual entry system that still has automated integrations with QuickBooks Online, Google Analytics, Facebook Marketing, and then all of the data is just logged into from a browser, and then your team can still punch in the data really quickly. It doesn't take any time at all. And then you still get all the data analysis, the data trending, and all of these amazing opportunities. And so because of this, it gives us an opportunity to help you guys see your data and act on the data. And that's where the true growth opportunities come from. So if you guys would like this opportunity, again, this is normally $199. It's about a 40-minute assessment of your practice. It's all HIPAA compliant. We have all the markers in place to protect your data. It's completely encrypted. It's, again, like I said, we have over 1,000 practices using Blue IQ. But all you have to do is text Blueprint to 801-683-0594. That's 801-683-0594. Just text Blueprint to that number. Pull out your phone right now. Just open up a text and put in that number and text Blueprint. And my team will respond to you. They're standing by and will engage with you. They'll have a few questions with you about what EHR are you using. Tell us a little bit about your practice. Where are you at in the growth cycle, and helping us understand that. Because as we analyze your data and give you this blueprint, again, whether you choose to use Blue IQ in the future or not, you'll still have the blueprint. You'll still have this clear roadmap of how to scale your profits. And that is exciting because, again, you guys, as chiropractors, if we're going to touch more patients' lives, we need the fuel that allows us to grow and create more impact, to really create the team that we need around us so that we can be laser focused on our expertise, and we have team members to support us, to help us grow with their expertise. And that's the beautiful thing about Blue IQ. It shows the team how they're performing on their expertise, and then we can use that data to build incentivization programs. We can use that data in our team meetings. We actually build what's called a production rhythm, and this is the third secret. The third secret is called a production rhythm. We use the data in 4 core meetings of how do we engage the team to come with their data analyzed, strategized, and ready to go to solve the problems that's keeping your practice from reaching its full potential. That is what we're offering you guys. So text Blueprint to 801-683-0594. We also have another really cool thing going on right now. And I'll just tell you quickly about this because I'll stop sharing my screen here. This last gift I want to give to you is one of the most powerful things. There we go. It's called the Growth Challenge, Blue IQ's Growth Challenge. This is a free 30-day chance to actually use Blue IQ and engage in 30 days of training with me. I have been helping doctors, now for over 20 years, building the practice of their dreams. We found, after working with over 1,000 practices, common things that they do that they are really good at, and allows us to take those common successful systems and bring them all into one training system. So the Growth Challenge allows you to sign up, join a private Facebook group, and get access to daily trainings. They're about 15 minutes. They have a workbook that goes along with it that's incredible. We have new patient training, front desk training, reactivation training, systems training, understanding the master practice profit formula, which is key to your success. If you want to join that, the challenge just started a couple days ago, but it goes on for 30 days. We close the doors Thursday night. After Thursday night, you cannot join the growth challenge, you guys. So if you want to check this out, go to blueiqchiro.com/grow. That's blueiqchiro.com/grow. And that, in fact, I'll put it in fact, Christy, if you'll put that in the chat there, this will give you guys an opportunity to actually use Blue IQ for free for 30 days and get expert training, guys. This is training I used to sell for thousands of dollars that I'm now giving away for free. And there's so much value in that, engaging with the community inside of the Growth Challenge. But again, doors closed Thursday. You got to sign up. Go check it out, blueiqchiro.com/grow. I've got a few minutes for some questions. Let me look in here and just see if there's anything.
We have a question.
Yes, please.
Could you explain what you mean by automated workflow? Front desk is trying to do certain tasks. So how and what are we as doctors can create opportunities to bring in more patients?
Yeah, perfect question. This concept of automation at the front desk is that a lot of your front desk team members want to help you grow, but they get busy, and we call that the daily whirlwind. And they're so busy checking in patients, they're so busy answering phones, that when they do have some downtime, a lot of times they're just trying to catch their breath, or they do some busy work. But what if every day you had automation that showed them not only exactly what to do on a daily basis, but what patients to go after, what new patients are coming in, what new patients maybe didn't reschedule the next appointment? How do we reach out and contact them and communicate with them? What about patients that were here yesterday that didn't schedule their next appointment? What about patients that were here 30 days ago and still have no next appointment? What about patients that were here a year ago and are going inactive? What if we could create automation around all of that allows information to be trickled to those patients to invite them either back for an appointment or to a monthly marketing workshop or something that you can engage them in? So that's what Blue IQ is. It sits in a browser, a Google Chrome browser right behind your patient management software. And it's just creating workflows for the front desk so that they're very clear on what they should be doing in that little bit of time they have in between patients to build all of the future growth of the practice.
Cory, can you show us what that kind of looks like?
I can. Let me log in here.
And I will say that prior, we no longer own practices, but we did up until the end of last year. And we were using Blue IQ technology at the clinics, which was funny because we were using it and nobody told me that. I found out while I was in a meeting with Cory, and I was like, oh my gosh, this would be so useful if we had it. And then they were like, no, but you do have it. And so then why don't I have access to this?
Yeah. Are you seeing my screen now?
I am.
Okay, beautiful. So Blue IQ, like I said, it goes in and pulls the data out of your practice management system, and it starts creating these workflows. So today, this is Tuesday, like today, it's showing you how many appointments you have on the books, how many new patients you have on the books, how much production you should have on the books, and then it starts calculating your collections. But what's really cool about this, if I go into the future, this is what we start teaching the team to focus on, is the rhythm, the production rhythm. You can see right here that there's a small gap in the ring. There's not enough scheduled appointments to actually hit the appointment goal. So as a team, we sit down, each month, and we look at how did we do last month and what do we want to do this month. And that's where we take that monthly goal, we break it down into a daily goal, and we as a practice all have our roles and duties that will drive that growth. So when we look at yesterday, this quickly tells me it was not a great day. We missed on the 4 key drivers of our practice, which is new patients, appointments, production, and of course, collections. But over here, we see all sorts of opportunities. And these are the opportunities that the front desk focuses on in order to grow future production. Like people on the schedule today that have a high missed appointment probability rate. I mean, can you imagine your front desk knowing exactly, even if they confirm their appointment and they have a low probability rate, there's one more text that you should send out to that patient to confirm that they're not going to miss, because that's a missed production opportunity. We quickly flag opportunities to collect money from these patients. We quickly flag on patients who were here yesterday that left with no next appointment. New patient tracking, so we can see, did a patient not schedule a next appointment very quickly, right, as the team. Obviously missed appointment charges and due for recare. Like, you can open up these lists to last week, last month, and there's an endless amount of work, unfortunately, for the front desk or front desk team or team to be doing in their downtime. So we even pull in our CAs that they know as soon as they come in it, they're coming over, they're opening this up, and they start engaging with patients. So the cool thing is, Blue IQ is built that if a patient does get scheduled, they drop off these lists. So these lists are always fresh and always, ready to go for the team to be able to drive that. And then the insights that this data gives you to be able to go in and look at unbelievable things like what we call your new patient, your net new patient number. So many practices are focused on their new patient number, but what's your net new patient number? Well, do a cash flow blueprint with us and you'll see exactly what the net new patient number is and how much it's costing you if it's not great. Understanding the lifetime value of your patients by timeframes. Are they converting from 30 days to 90 days to 6 months to first year, and what's the value of all that? So there's so much rich data in here that we can't wait to share with you and help you see. But these are the things that done daily creates explosive growth in your practice.
Awesome. Well, I don't see any more questions that have come through. If they do have questions after today's presentation, how would they reach out to you, Dr. Cory?
I saw a comment in there. Let me just address this because I've been in your shoes, guys. I've been a doctor sitting on webinars, and you feel like you're getting sold to. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm giving you a free gift of what's called a cash flow blueprint for your practice. The problem is that I could sit here and teach you some principles of practice management, but you need to see it with your own data. And the opportunity I'm giving you is way beyond this webinar. It's an opportunity to actually sit down with your data, with one of our growth experts, to walk through a process to help you see exactly what to do in your practice. And that's where you're going to start to see growth opportunity. So again, I know it feels a little bit like selling, but when you really understand these concepts, and there's providers out there, there's practice owners out there that are applying these concepts, and when they do, that's when the growth comes. And I can't, unfortunately, see your data from where I'm sitting right now until we actually get into it. That's why the cash flow blueprint is such a powerful opportunity for you to participate in.
Well, thank you for that. And that is why I asked you to show the platforms so they could see, because I think one of the big negatives to any EHR software, and you and I have talked about this, is that when you do a demo and they tell you about all the information that it will give you, and it's loaded with hundreds, if not thousands of different reports. And we tend in practice to pull like 5, maybe 6. Definitely less than 10. And they don't always give you the full picture of what is going on in your practice versus having the dashboard to be able to look at that and see everything you need to address before it becomes a problem. All too often in the work that I do working with practices and doctors, it is, I'm seeing I'm seeing the same amount of patients I was a year ago, but I'm not making as much money. And then we go back and realize there's all these denials and all these issues, or somebody at the front desk stopped collecting money. And it's like, well, were you not looking at reports? Did you not see that? But how much easier would it be if you're seeing this on a dashboard where you can look at daily, monthly, weekly, annual numbers and see, oh, wait, there is a problem. Something happened. I need to dig a little deeper. So that is why, like I said, data is so important. It's why we keep bringing up this issue. It's not enough to know what data you need, but how easy is it to access? Because at the end of the day, your top priority every day going into your practice is to treat your patients. Anytime not treating patients is not the best use of your time, and it is not making you money. So what is the fastest way to be able to oversee all of those other things going on in your practice and address them without it getting in between you and the time you have for patient care?
Guys, my mission is to help you treat more patients. And that's the impact more lives is a profession. I want us impacting more patients' lives. And again, the mindset of our profession has to be run more efficient practices, touch more patients' lives, and grow as a profession. We've got to get over this 11 to 15% utilization rate. And the only way we're going to do that is to learn the business side of chiropractic. And so that's my mission. That's why I'm here, is to provide for you the tools that will allow you to do that. And I don't know if you know this, but the dynamic of chiropractic is changing. There is corporate chiropractic coming into play with corporations who understand these business principles. I guarantee you, in your town, in your city, there's a corporate chiropractic office not too far from you. It is changing our profession, you guys. And when you look at the value and what they're selling their services for and how it's impacting and affecting you, you've got to act. You can't just sit back and be like, well, my services are better, I'm going to be just fine. No, you've got to learn the business acumen that they've learned of why they're scaling, why corporate chiropractic is scaling. And I'm giving you the tools to stay alive, and not only stay alive, but thrive and learn the same systems that these guys are using, that's causing them to open up on every corner across America. So wake up, because this is the stuff that our profession is facing. And I am going to continue to be a champion for you so that you can help the patient experience and build a team that really knows how to help you impact more patients' lives. Thank you guys for letting me be on here and stand on my soapbox. And just, I'm here to help you guys, period. Not here to sell to you, here to help you.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Cory. And hopefully, am I going to see you next month in Florida?
I believe so. I've got my team booking out all the schedule for what's coming up. It's just such a crazy time, but yeah.
It is. I know I have all kinds of stuff on my calendar, and I'm just like, is it going to happen? Or are we going virtual? Are we going to be in person? Or are we going to be in virtual? Of course, this is FCA, so it's going to happen. So
yeah, it'll happen.
It'll happen. Well, then I will see you in St. Augustine next month. Okay, everybody. I hope you had an amazing rest of your day and a fabulous week. And just a reminder, next week, because I have to balance all the fun topics, we do have Charles Waterley, not a doctor, coming to talk to us about cost segregation for your building and leasehold improvements, which is something that we learned about at ChiroHealth for our own building through our CPA, and something that we had not considered. And Dr. Foxworth wished somebody had talked to him about decades before, for not only his practice, but for, for ChiroHealth as well, because it ended up having a huge impact on our tax structure. So Charles is going to be here next week to kind of talk to you about what is cost segregation and how it can benefit you. Then we're going to talk about NM 2021 guidelines for the chiropractic office one more time. one more time, and then we're not going to talk about it anymore for a long, long time. So hopefully we're going to have Dr. Mario Fissionary. I'm trying to bring in a variety of speakers to address this topic. So he's going to talk about that, and then we're going to start talking about all kinds of new and interesting things going into March and April. So we'll see you next week. Same time, same place. Dr. Cory, thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure. Great to be with you guys. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye. Bye, y'all.